Love laid bare.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in the world. You're through to another episode of Love Laid Bare, and I'm, of course, your host, Dionne. How are you guys this week? I had a break last week just because I needed a bit of time. I didn't really plan to, but I just needed a break. And we are coming up to I think this is going to be probably episode 10 or maybe even 11 of the season, and usually I would have had probably a break anyway, but I'm sorry guys for not letting you know, but I hope you're all well. I hope you enjoyed the episode that we had a week before last with Tay Burke, where we spoke about soul ties and sexual healing from a spiritual perspective. I know you guys are loving this conversation about spirituality and using this as tools as another way of healing. So this week I have Lorraine Whyte, the lovely intuitive life strategist. She was on about a month ago, weren't you, Lorraine? Welcome back.
Yes, that's right. Thank you very much for having me, Dionne. I'm really looking forward to this conversation.
You're welcome. You're welcome. How has your week been? How have you been since we last saw you?
It's been really interesting, very busy. So I obviously I do my one-to-one work, but I've just literally started I've just literally started organizing an event called the Soul Space.
Yes.
And we have got the Soul Space is a space where you can access one-to-one guidance, one-to-one spiritual guidance and therapy in one place. It's all hosted by Zoom, and I have a team of practitioners, and I was doing a monthly event, and so we had our first event in March, and we've now got our second event this coming Saturday. So that's where my energy has been. Yeah, so it's been a busy time, but exciting at the same time.
So when you say you've got different practitioners, so what kind of, how do they kind of differ from you and what you do?
Okay, so my practitioner, so the Soul Space is about really helping people access alternative modes of therapy. And they are of the spiritual nature, but they cover the mind, body, and soul. So at this event, I offer numerology. I've got another practitioner, Tay Burke, who also offers numerology. And numerology takes care of the helping you to understand your spiritual journey, helping you to understand yourself as a spiritual being. And we also have astrology. I've got an astrologer as well that does similar. It has a similar effect, but helps you put your journey into context in terms of the astrological influences that you are susceptible to as you go through your journey. And then I've got healers who are helping people to really shift the issues that perhaps the astrology and the numerology will shed light on. Okay. Yeah. And then we have, so I've got healers. This month, I've got a relationship counselor as well to help you deal with the kind of real practical issues of your situation. And I have a hypnotherapist as well to help you deal with the mind. So I've tried to kind of organize it in a way that it's a kind of one-stop shop. And so you can see two practitioners in the night if you wanted to in one event. So you could see a practitioner for astrology and then go and have a hypnotherapy session, or go and have a healing session. You know, it's really designed to help someone to just really start their journey, okay? But look at it in a holistic way. In a holistic way.
Wow, okay. So for someone who's not familiar with this type of, I guess, therapy, what would you recommend would be, say if they were to come along to the event on Saturday, like where would you recommend they would start, or, you know?
Interesting question. So it really does depend on where they are in their journey. I mean, some people have a pressing issue, like it might be a career issue or a relationship issue, for instance. And I would say, if you know what that issue is and you know that you want to clear that issue, resolve it, then you might be looking at more the relationship counselor or the healer or the hypnotherapist, for instance. If you are somebody who, you know, maybe you just want to understand what your journey is about, you might be at the beginning of your spiritual awakening, as I call it, the beginning of your spiritual journey, then I would say astrology and numerology, and maybe even tarot, because we have a tarot reader as well, might help. Because this whole thing as well is, okay, so I have an astrologer, I have a tarot reader, and some people think, oh gosh, this is fortune telling, right? But it's also to help people to understand how you can use these tools as a mode of spiritual development and spiritual understanding, as opposed to fortune telling, because that isn't, like, my readers are not fortune tellers. They are quite deep, and that's why I've chosen them, because they're not on that level of excuse me, you know, you're going to win the lottery next week, or you're gonna, you know, it's not like that at all. It's more like, you know, they will be helping the person to understand what's going on for them from a spiritual perspective, and how they can overcome it using the tarot and using astrology. You know, that's where they're coming from. So there's a whole level of a larger degree of compassion and understanding and love and support. That's where we're coming from.
Okay. You know, some people who aren't familiar with this type of, you know, area of therapy might be wondering, well, why are there so many different ways for me to find out the same thing?
Interesting.
How
sorry.
What's your kind of opinion or thoughts on that? You know, because I think a lot of people don't necessarily are not at that level of understanding yet. So they'll probably be looking at these things and thinking, well, what's going to be the main differences then? You know, why would I go and see the tarot reader and not the numerologist or the astrologer? Like, don't they all kind of have the same information then, just maybe performed in a different way, maybe?
Yeah. Okay, interesting. And okay, so there's two things I can say to this. Firstly, I say go with what you're drawn to, because there's no wrong or right answer, firstly. And secondly, yeah, they are all different. As I said, you've got astrology and numerology that's probably giving you a bigger perspective of your life and the part that you play in it. And then you've got the counseling, the hypnotherapy, the healing, which is more about specific issues. That's where it starts. That's what's going to, you know, attract you to those therapies. But I do say this is where, like, just really tapping into yourself and thinking, well, I want to try this. There's no wrong or right answer. You can't make any wrong decisions. I just think try it and go from there, because it's like getting on, I liken it to the Wizard of Oz, okay? Like Dorothy, you know, she's on the yellow brick road, and, you know, she's going along the yellow brick road. She doesn't know who she's gonna, you know, come up against. She's gonna meet the Tin Man or the I can't remember the other cat, the lion. Yeah. And it's like, if you see these therapies like that, you know, you don't know, the therapy, the tarot could be the Tin Man, the relationship counseling could be the lion. You know, it's like, I'm with you. Doesn't matter, do you know what I mean? So it's like, it doesn't matter where you start, you're going to start in the right place. You're going to get the right thing. You're going to get the right information, the right help, the right support that you need at this time, wherever you are on the yellow brick road.
I love that analogy. That's brilliant. That's brilliant. And it kind of, as you were talking, it's kind of reminding me a bit of myself, because I'm kind of on my own yellow brick road. And I think you're right. You know, wherever you start is the right place for you. And it's amazing that, you know, from that point, how you know, new kind of characters, you know, metaphorically speaking, kind of come into your path to teach you new things, and for you to learn things about yourself along the journey. So yeah, that was a really good analogy. I like that.
Thank you.
So that's a perfect segue into what we're speaking about today, which is numerology.
Yeah.
So I know you gave us a definition a bit earlier, but could you just remind us, what is numerology? What is the definition? What does it kind of do?
Okay, so numerology is concerned with numbers, okay, and it goes on the principle that every number has a meaning, has a vibration, has a value, and when you put these numbers together, because we all have different numbers, so we have, if we take our date of birth, for instance, when we put all these numbers together, we have a story, and it's the story of our lives. And also we have, like, the numbers are linked to the alphabet letters. So we can do the same for our name, so that when we put the letters of our name together, it also gives us the story. And yeah, it's a science, and it was founded in ancient Egypt, is where it kind of began. And it's been kind of like everything else. It's been kind of adapted over time, over centuries. So Pythagoras is the philosopher that I kind of follow, but so his numerology has been heavily influenced by, like, the Egyptian and the Indian and the the Asian. He's kind of combined the whole lot and created this whole numerology school of thought, let's say. And that's what I kind of use when I'm working with clients.
Mm-hmm. So in terms of numerology and the numbers, so say for example, let's say at birth you were named Annabelle, but then, I don't know, something happened, you got adopted, and then you were given a new name. How would that work then? Because how does that work?
Okay, interesting. So it does depend on how soon you, like, if you were named Annabelle as a baby and then it was changed, like, before the age of 2,
Okay.
then we take the new name. Okay. So if it was changed later, then we would take the original name.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I've had that, actually. I'm just trying to think if as you're talking, I'm just trying to think if I've had that. And I have had situations where people have been adopted, but they've known that what their adopted name, that their original name was. So we have taken the original name, because really, ideally, you do want the original name, but it's not always possible because not everyone knows what that, especially if it happened when they were younger.
Right. Okay.
So, but this is where as well we look at the date of birth, because obviously that's always going to stay the same. So I use both, but I'd probably just look at the date of birth. But I do pick up when I've had instances where I've had it where people don't know the spelling of their name because the name was spelt differently when they were born. Mm-hmm. And I've had a couple of situations where I've had to do charts, because I use Pythagoras, but I also use, and there's another modality, another type of numerology that I use, which is the Hebrew one. And that one is very intuitive in terms of I'm able to pick up whether that's the person's name or not, because I will intuit it by, because I will see the charts. And so when I create the chart, I will look at it and think which one feels like the person, and then I'll be able to give them the correct spelling of the name. I've had that a few times.
Okay. So I know that you obviously do it by the name and by the date of birth. So, but wouldn't you get 2 different numbers? Or okay, where should we start? Should we talk about maybe a brief overview of the numbers, and then maybe use me as an example, perhaps, like maybe using my name and date of birth and then see how that kind of pans out.
Yeah, no worries. So, okay, so with the name and the date of birth, so I use two systems because I forgot about this other systems I'm talking. The Pythagoras system is the, with Pythagoras, yeah, we use the life path number. The life path number is what we get, is the total of your date of birth. And that is like the theme of your life. It's like the overriding theme of your life. And it also embodies your mission. Okay, so it's like the mission, but it's not, the mission is not external, it's not something that you're working towards, you are it. Okay, so you kind of live and breathe this theme, but a lot of time people don't know what the theme is. Okay, but you have an inkling when you have a reading. So we start with the life path. So, and then we have, from the date of birth, we also have what we call the personality number, which is the day that you were born. That's the personality number. That just gives us an idea of who you are on a personality kind of.
So do you mean the day of the week, or the month, or the
born day? The born
day.
day. So if you're born on the 3rd of August, it would be the 3rd. The number 3 would be the number that we take for personality. Okay, and then we have from the date of birth as well. This is something personal that I do with the date of birth, which is something I've just developed myself. So with the date of birth as well, I can also tell what's going on with you just by looking at the numbers. So, and that's just by, because obviously you've got 6, 2, 4, 6, 8 numbers there in the date of birth. And I will just scan the numbers and just see what's coming out for me as well. Okay. So when I do very quick readings, I just ask for the date of birth and I'll just read that, like I've done on Clubhouse. I think you were in one of my Clubhouse rooms. Yes, we just do that. Yeah. Okay, so I do that. So that is the date of birth. And then with the name, we're able to find out what your heart's desire is. Okay, so these are all the vowels in your name. We add them all up. And this is like your heart's desire. This is the motivation. This is everything that you do in your life will be influenced and motivated by that number. Okay, and that's all the vowels in your name. And then that's like the inner you. And then we have within your name, we have the consonants. So all the consonants in your name we add up, and that gives you the outer you. That's like your persona. That's like your public persona. Okay, so that's like, you know, in astrology you've got your sun, your moon, and your rising.
Yes.
So your the consonants are like your it's like the sun, let's say. Okay, it's not you, it's like the sun. And then the inner, the heart's desire is like your moon sign. It's what's inner, is hidden. And then when we add it all up together, all of your name, we've got like your expression number. Okay, so and your expression number is how you kind of express yourself. But I work with those numbers. There are so many numbers that you can get from your date of birth and your name, depending on the school of thought that you are choosing to follow with regards to numerology, because there are different ones.
Right.
But for me, I use those are my numbers. And then when I do, like, I do forecasting as well. So with the forecasting, there are numbers, you know, I can find out your personal year from the date of birth. So what are you dealing with now? What is this year about, 2021, for you? And then we can do a mini one if you want. We can do a mini reading if you want.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, go on then.
Yeah, so we do personal year, and we also do, there's something called the essence as well, whereby I can look and see what, so we have, with the personal year, you have a theme, and then there's like a lesson. And I love this. There's like a lesson for every year, from your birthday to your next birthday to birthday. There's like a little lesson that you have to overcome that goes with the personal year. And So we do that. We go through that as well. So I love this because I'm able to help people to really understand their journey and really tap in to the lesson so that it's not so challenging, if that makes sense.
Yes, that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I love that side of it. So, you know, we could look like 10 years ahead, we can look 5 years ahead and see what's going to be changing for you. So that is the Pythagoras numerology. And then I've got the Hebrew one, which is based on your name, really. And then that's the one that I think I've done for you, whereby it kind of tells you your challenges, your goals for your soul, your talents and abilities, the essence of who you are, and puts it all together to help you to really understand yourself on a deep level. And that's the other system in a nutshell. Yes.
Is that the same as is it called Gematria?
Gematria, yeah. Did you know what? I can never say this word, and I do this work. But it's like Gematria. Gematria is Gematria.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I've heard of that. I think my brother, he's kind of like really kind of learning and getting into it in terms of like from political and social type of thing. So I think he gave an example of something like they already predicted that Prince Philip was going to die this year because it was the 73rd year of his marriage to the Queen, and apparently the number 73 is quite significant, as is number 21, and you know. Yeah, so I don't know a lot about it, but my brother's like sends me loads of links and stuff to kind of, you know, read up and stuff. But it's a lot of information to take in. And I think, and for me, like trying to apply it to like everything, I'm a bit like, okay, this is a bit too much information for me right now.
You can go really deep with this stuff. And this is why, for me, I do draw the line. I'll go deep for other things, but I could be here for, you know, forever. Yeah. Go picking out certain numbers, and it's very investigative. Like you can become like a detective, because it's all in the numbers. You know, you can find out what's really going on. But yeah, I think you for me, I only use certain numbers. There's other numbers, there's other calculations. You know, it's endless. You know.
So for example, you know, you said you have with the numbers, you're able, for example, to do forecasts, and you can see maybe 1 year, 5 years down the line. So does that mean then that your fate or is already predestined? And if you point this out and you say, okay, look, you know, in 5 years time, you're not going to be living in the UK, for argument's sake. Now, what if you do everything in your power to make sure that you don't leave the UK?
That's interesting.
Can you change your life plan, or you know?
You can change your experience of it. So if there is a number that indicates that you might be leaving the UK, for instance, I'm just trying to think of a number, but I suppose there is a number that might indicate that you might be moving, like moving far, or maybe moving to a different place. Instead of leaving the country completely, you might choose to go to live in Scotland, for instance, if you're in London. Do you know what I mean? Or I suppose that's a different country, but it's not too far. But you will just feel that energy. It's like, it's an interesting question, because we are in a world now, especially in the in the spiritual community, we're told, some people feel like they can take complete control, they can manifest whatever they want, and you know, we can be all powerful. There is some truth to that, but what numerology and astrology shows you is that there is a plan, and so you can't really manifest outside of that plan, okay? Because you're going to feel that plan is going to be impacting you in some way. You can't really think outside of that. because I see each, like the numbers, as like a field of energy, and you are within that field, so you can't kind of come out of that, and that field is the plan, you know. So it's like you can't really manifest outside of it, you can only manifest within it. And this is when, like, people say, you know, be careful because this might happen, or be careful because that might happen. You know, there is a plan, and whatever happens, it's within that field of energy, and it's to help you to learn within that field of energy. Do you know?
Yeah. I mean, on the topic of manifesting, and I guess, you know, in recent years, people have really gotten into like the law of attraction, and you are kind of, I don't know, say sold the dream, but you are kind of almost impressed upon that, you know, you can manifest whatever you want. But then I guess maybe is it the case then that for a lot of us who, you know, might be trying to manifest winning the lottery, that's the reason why we're not getting it, because that wasn't part of our life plan.
Exactly. That is exactly it. It's not part of the plan. The people who do feel this urge to do that is because that is what is for them, and they're obviously picking that up on some level, that they're going to be wealthy, and you know. But you can always see in numerology, you can always see where there's wealth. Like, I'll give you an example, because doing this work, the way that I've kind of developed to this point is I live and breathe this stuff. So I don't watch the news a lot, but if something happens, I'll be on the numbers. I'll be looking at that person. I'll be looking at date of birth, and just trying to understand. That's how I kind of learned as well. Looking at patterns, looking at, okay, so what was this about for them? And I do like reality stars. I love reality stars because you see it, you see their lives, you know, play out right in front of you. And so I will look at their numbers. Okay, so I will look at their life path and just really understand what is going on for them, really. And so, like the Kardashians, I'm not a great fan of them, but they intrigue me. People just intrigue me. Okay, so I have looked at their life path, and and also their the personal years, etc., because it's all on the internet. And so what you'll find is that they've got a lot of eights consistently, a lot of eights in their personal year. The 8 is about wealth, it's about success, it's money. Okay, a lot of them, most of them is 8. It's in their name, it's there already. You know. And I also find that with, because I try and do all walks of life, business people, you know, that 8 is very significant in their chart. There's other numbers as well, then it just shows you that is their life. That's what they've come here to experience. You know, how they've got it is another thing, you know, but it's there.
Interesting. So the 8 is the 8 just wealth, or does the 8 kind of cover other energies as well?
The 8 is about wealth, it's about success, but with the 8, so it's the 2 circles. So it means that you will experience what it's like not to have money, but when you really work with the energy of it, you can become that billionaire. You know, that there is potential. It's the number that gives you the potential to really become who you are, to really experience the potential of who you are. And what comes with that is wealth and success, and because you attract that. But that's what it's, the 8 in a nutshell.
Okay. Okay. So should we do like an example on me, and then so we can like have the viewers and listeners can kind of like have an idea of how this kind of works?
Fantastic. Okay, so would you like your we'll start with your life path. I'm just having a look at my calculator up. So with your date of birth, we've got you born on the 20, you're a 4 energy, you're life path 4. Okay, life path 4 is all about, it's very goal oriented, it's very structured, very organized. It's almost like the 4, they also are very determined. They want to achieve something in this life. They want to almost leave a legacy in this lifetime. And so everything you do will be done thoroughly. It will be, it's something serious. Do you know? You're not about just trying some new things. Everything that you start, you're going to follow through and complete. You know, you want success, you know, but that is not the goal. Success is not the goal. So the goal for you is to be able to complete something. It's to be able to leave a legacy. Okay, so with the 4 energy as well, everything that they do, that they're very good at, like building like a platform, a hub, let's say, that inspires other people.
Wow.
So yeah, so the 4 energy, Oprah Winfrey is a 4. So you know, she's built this whole network. And everyone has benefited in terms of their own personal development, in terms of their own spiritual development. That's what that 4 energy is about. So I feel with yourself, it is for you now, it is about tooling up, okay? Kind of learning, you're in this phase of learning all that you can to become this solid vehicle from which other people can grow through you. You know, it's like you're building this, you're going to become this solid, I'm just seeing psychically, it's like a solid kind of person from which you'll be able to give all of the wisdom, all of the guidance, all of the direction from your vehicle, let's say. Okay, so that may be you. Oh, wow. So that may be you, like you're building a hub, a platform, but you're doing it from a very solid place. Okay, so it's not fragmented. You will have the knowledge and the wisdom to share with other people. Okay, and that's how people will benefit, and that's how you build. So in terms of you've got a 2 energy, which is like your personality. So people are important for you. It's so important that you connect with people. Otherwise it can be a bit challenging. You can't be on your own. Like when you're doing everything that you do, you have to connect with people. Because what people give you is a learning about yourself.
Yes, that is that is so true. That is so true. Mm-hmm.
And this needs to be in place. Everything you do is not to do it alone. It is to partner up, collaborate, and build from that point. So, 5, 6, 7. So this year you're in a personal year 7, and personal year 7 is very much about self-discovery. It's learning. It's like taking the time out for yourself and doing what's best for you. Okay, this whole year. So last year there may have been some challenges with regards to family and with regards to relationships, but this year it's like, just take a breather. You know, it's all about me this year. I've just got to get everything in order for myself. Okay, but my own self-love, self-care are like the key themes for you this year. Okay, and how that manifests for you will be in learning about yourself, in your own really investing in your own spiritual development, in your own personal development at this time. Okay, because at the end of the day you're a 4, so, and the 4 will be doing things like, you'll be doing courses, for instance. You'll be doing you'll be engaging in activity that will that where something will become of it. It's not like you're doing it just
for doing its
purely.
sake.
Yeah, but this is the year for you to do that. So you have got, so Dionne, you have got, so we've just done your personal year number. So now I'm just going to have a quick look at your essence. So this is like the lesson, the lesson that goes with the personal year. So you're in a personal year 7.
Yes.
You're also in an essence number 7. Okay.
Oh,
so
okay.
There's something here that when the lesson is a 7, it's almost like you're being forced to go within. Your soul wants you to go within. You have to go within, and it's almost like going within and being okay with it, because you've got a whole.
I know exactly what that means.
Yeah. You've got a whole run of 7s here, right up until 2024. You're going to be in a 7 essence. So normally with this, what happens is when the numbers are not always consistently the same. Okay, normally they're different numbers every year, most, you know, for many people. But when we see a whole run of 7s, this is a real kind of like lesson for your soul, because I feel like your soul has been one, it's hardworking. It's been a really hardworking kind of person that will do a lot for other people, actually, you know, give out a lot for other people. But what your soul wants you to do now over these next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years is to go within you, and it's all about you. And what's coming out of this is because then we've got some 2s, we've got relationship. We've got
way or bad way?
No, it's good.
Oh, okay.
It feels like this energy, this 7 is really making you be really true to what you want, and to be really, really congruent with what you want in terms of the relationships that you have, in terms of the work that you go into. It's going to be quite exciting. But I will say with these numbers, with the 7s, is to remember that, because sometimes it might feel a bit lonely. Okay, right. But I want to say that loneliness, what that loneliness is about, is the letting go of the old. That's what that is about. It's not to kind of take it as as being alone in the world, because you're not, but it can feel like that because you're letting go of the old.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So there's a lot to look forward to as you go forward, you know, and things are really changing for you in a really congruent way. So the next 5 years for you, Dionne, are going to be very much about your spiritual and personal development, and really taking that to the next level.
Okay.
So that you can become this person who is able to do great things from a real congruent place. That you are congruent now, but it's going even deeper.
Okay. Wow. That sounds so exciting. Thank you for sharing that. Oh, wow.
You are welcome.
Wow. So what happens, I guess, in a session where maybe, I don't know if there's such a thing as bad numbers, but you know, if someone doesn't, if the numbers, I guess, are not showing, you know, that the next 4 or 5 years are going to be that great, is there anything they can do about that?
So what I want to say is, with the numbers, there isn't really numbers that show that it's not going to be that. There's some numbers, there are some kind of, I want to say numbers that might be more, not warning, but more karmic, let's say. Okay. There might be numbers that indicate that there's some karmic stuff that you might have to experience which could potentially be a little bit on the heavy side, okay? But there's always a gift in that. It's not all bad. And when you know about it, you'll be able to see it as another lesson that you've got to go through, okay? And it's like, the more that you can see it as a lesson, the less challenging it becomes. It's when you get caught up in it and you think, God, this is my life, this is what defines me. When it doesn't, it's there to help you to understand that it's a lesson and to find the lesson within it. And that lesson will be different for everyone for that same number. Right. You know, it really does depend on what that person's going through. Also, so I can intuit it, you know, by looking at all the other numbers and finding out, okay, so what is this likely to be about for this person? So there's numbers like that. Yeah. Does that answer the question?
Yeah, no, it does. So, you know, for somebody who maybe has experienced perhaps childhood trauma, you know, you spoke about the kind of karmic lessons. So is that type of trauma, is it a karmic lesson, or is that something else? Am I going too deep? Is that a very deep question?
No, it's not. I mean, I've had this question before because I've had people ask me, so how do you explain like child abuse and so forth? You know, is that a lesson? And this is the thing, it's a sensitive question. So what I will say with that, when there's been childhood trauma, the rest of your life is about overcoming the impact of that.
Right, okay.
And so what can happen, like in the numbers, it can show certain numbers that will help to guide you to overcome the impact of that. And childhood trauma affects people in different ways. Some children can go through the same trauma and feel differently about it. And so it is understanding what is that, how is that coming out in your life? Do you know, with abuse, we often get situations as adults whereby, and thing that I find a lot in people is lack of boundaries because you've been abused. And so abuse is like being conditioned to believe that you are here to be abused, and so you attract more of it. So you don't have boundaries because you can lose all self-worth, do you know? So with that, you will attract relationships whereby people abuse you, people take the mickey out of you, people see you as a doormat effectively. And then you've got issues around that. So the numbers will help you to identify what those issues are that you're experiencing. And I've had people come to me, they present in so many different ways, you'd be surprised. Do you know how it presents? It presents itself in relationship, which is the obvious one, but it also can present itself in business as well.
Okay. Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So in business, for instance, you will have situations where you're finding it hard to make money, okay, because it comes back to the worthiness, to the issue of not feeling that you're worth what you are, the service that you're worth it. Basically, you're not feeling that you're worth it. Okay, that has its roots in abuse. Also, like pricing, I see this a lot. I'm not worth this, you know, X amount.
Yeah.
You know, allowing people, not having a voice in the workplace, not having a voice because you feel like your voice is not worthy. And so you'll find that in the workplace, you know, people will always dismiss you. Do you know?
Yes.
So there are these things come out in different ways in all areas of your life, even in health, you know, health issues as well, because you can have situations where there's certain health issues that you will attract because of the abuse are linked to worthiness. Things like, so this is going into territory of, have you heard of Louise Hay? Maybe your listeners might have heard of Louise Hay, where she identifies ailments according to the emotions that are going on behind it. So with certain ailments, you know, you might have things like, let's take like basic things, back pain, where you feel unsupported. You might have things like, yeah, like tiredness, chronic fatigue syndrome, whereby, you know, you're a giver, you've got no energy because you're a giver, you know, so you're going to attract that kind of illness, do you know? So there's things, so that's how it shows up in the body.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's, yeah.
Sorry. So so if someone say came to do a numerology reading from you, and let's say they've not told you about any kind of trauma they've experienced, but you kind of pick that up, so are they able to come to you to work on that trauma, or would it be a case that you would refer them on to like a counselor or a therapist, or is it a case of maybe doing both in conjunction? What kind of yeah, where would you kind of direct them?
So it really does depend on the person and what they're coming with. Sometimes I will refer them, okay, or I'll recommend a certain therapy, and sometimes I'll work with them. It all depends on how it's like I get the guidance. So if I feel that I am to work with them, I'll work with them. But if I'm being guided to refer them, I'll refer them.
Okay.
Because sometimes I want to say like 2 people can come to me with the same issue, and I might refer one of them. Right. And sometimes I don't even know why. I don't question that really. Sometimes I just follow what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
And I'll let them go to, I'll refer them to another healer, coach, counselor, or, you know, but I'm very obedient like that, because sometimes, you know, you think that as doing the work that I do is like, it's really, in order for the client to get the benefit and to get the help, it's being really true with what you can do for them and what that connection is about, because everyone that comes to you, there's a reason why you connect with certain people. Yeah. You know? And it's been really, really true to, you know, okay, I connect with them and they need the help. What do I have to do to really help them? And sometimes it means referring them.
Yes. Okay. So so could you give us an example of the type of things that you can do to help somebody with, not necessarily, it doesn't have to be childhood trauma, but if you pick up maybe some issues, what kind of I guess healing therapies do you kind of offer to your clients?
So I offer, I do the numerology to help them to really understand what's going on for them in their life right now, where they are on their journey. And then I offer healing, theta healing. And so the theta healing is about helping someone to identify their limiting beliefs that's preventing them from moving forward in their life, or preventing them or holding them stuck in the issue that they've come to me for. But those limiting beliefs come about always, they're rooted in childhood, they're rooted in past life, they're rooted ancestrally as well. And that's where we start the clearing. We start to clear the beliefs from those past lives, from childhood. And then once we've cleared that energy, the person is able to move forwards, because we then give them different beliefs. We then download new beliefs. So they're able to move forward from that point of the new belief, as opposed to the old belief. So their life then changes. So what else comes with that is, so we will go into, you know, past life. We're going to what happened in the childhood. We have to go there, because a lot of the time we don't have to let the person relive it, you know, but
Yeah.
we have to go there in terms of identifying that that's where it's come from, and then clearing from there. Yeah.
Okay. So also in terms of the numerology and you know, the service you offer as a reading, can you apply numerology to your business? You know,
Yeah.
are you able to offer the same guidance to, you know, where someone's business might be in 5 years time or 10 years time or that type of thing?
Yes, for sure. So for sure, in terms of numerology for business, I don't use it like, because I know some people can take the business name and work with that. There are people who do that, who have that service. I always look at the business from the person and from who you are, because you're the one that's building that business, and that's how I see it. I mean, there are people doing some wonderful work with, you know, getting very specific with the business name. You have to call it this for it to kind of bring in the right customer, or, you know, you can really go down that road, but I don't do it. For me, it's about drawing out the skills of the person so that you can create the best business. You know, if you know what you've got, if you know what your internal resources are, what your gifts are, what your abilities and talents are, then you can create something amazing for your business. And also you can, or it can also help you to market as well, because some people, like, we're in this whole celebrity kind of age, let's say, where everyone is a celebrity on the internet, you know, but that's not for everyone. Not everyone wants to be out there. You know, we're told that you have to be out there, but that's not always a natural thing for some people. And it's like, the numbers can help you to see that and help you to see, okay, well, you don't have to be doing Facebook Live every day. You can be writing blogs, or you can, because that's where your gifts are. That's where you'll get the most energy from, maybe writing blogs as opposed to doing Facebook Lives. Do you know?
Yeah. Interesting. Okay, so I will need to be doing a session review of Love for Love Laid Bare to find out where my strengths are and what I need to be doing with that. So yeah, we'll get sorted out very soon. You know, angel numbers, does that tie in with numerology, or is it completely separate?
It's not completely separate, but it's not completely separate. I mean, I don't do angel numbers. I don't guide people on angel numbers, but I do acknowledge them, because it is a way of guiding people. It is a way of for people to understand, to get guidance on their journey. You know, if you keep seeing the same number, that is a sign from your angels, from your guides, that you have to take account of for your journey.
Yeah,
I'm very much, I'm very much believing that.
There's a number that I've been seeing for like the past, or it's 63 numbers. It's not like your typical 111, 222, which is kind of regular normal. But for some reason I keep seeing, well, me and my friends kept seeing the number 207. So we'd gone to stay at a hotel or something, and I think we watched 2 movies, and in both those movies back to back, the hotel room numbers in those movies were 207.
Oh, wow.
We saw 207. I've just come back, I saw room 207. So it's like a recurring theme. But when I went on to the Hebrew Gematria, it said, I think it said something like along the lines of, not exactly, but you kind of need to focus on your spiritual journey. I was like, wow, okay. Thanks. So yeah, so it's interesting. Okay.
That is, because as you're saying that, so you've got the 20, you've got 20 in your date of birth, and you've got the 7, which is the number for you right now. That's your number. The 7 is the essence, you know, and you're in a personal year 7. So it is about your personal journey, your spiritual journey, but it's also about you taking step by step, doing things step by step as well, and not feeling too overloaded by spiritual, everything. It's step, that's the two.
Interesting. Okay. Wow, it all comes together, doesn't it?
Yes.
It all comes together. That is amazing. Okay. Okay, well, Lorraine, this has been a very, very interesting discussion. Every time I speak to you, honestly, I learn even more than I did the last time. And we've had our kind of personal sessions together anyway, but every time I speak to you, it's like my depth and level of understanding is a lot deeper. So thank you for sharing your knowledge with us today. And just remind us, so you've got your event coming up on this Saturday, which is the 24th of April.
Yes, that's right. It's the 24th of April, Saturday, between 6 and 9. And you are able to access a team of practitioners. It's in a one-to-one capacity. There is no seminar, there is no webinar. You literally will be going straight into the virtual space and going into a breakout room with your chosen practitioner, whether that be our astrologer, our tarot reader, our hypnotherapist, our numerologist, our relationship counselor, whichever. Or I have to say this because I keep missing this one out. So we also this time have a better sleep workshop, because sleep is a major thing for many people at this time, especially when you're going through stuff. And so I have an Ayurveda coach who is going to be doing a better sleep workshop to help you to sleep better, but also to understand what the reason is behind that. Because she says that to be awake, what's really keeping you awake when you are awake at night, there's something more to it. Is it to awaken you?
Interesting. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, well, guys, you've heard it here first. Get your tickets. So where can they get tickets from? I mean, I will pop the link in the show notes and stuff. But
thank you so much. So it's Eventbrite. It's all on Eventbrite. You just literally go to the link and purchase your ticket from there, and then we'll send you instructions to join.
Okay, brilliant. So Lorraine, where can they find you? Where can they follow you? Website, socials? So
you can follow me on my Instagram. I'm more active on the Instagram, and it's Lori, LORI _A for Apple, then Whyte, WHY for yacht, TE. And if you want to follow the Soul Space, so you can follow us on Instagram, the Soul Space Events on Instagram. And I have a YouTube channel which is specifically for numerology, and that's called the Soul Education Academy.
Okay, lovely. Okay, Lorraine, again, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
I'm sure I will find another excuse and reason to have you back on again. But we'll work on another topic very soon. So again, thank you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're more than welcome. Okay, guys, I hope you've enjoyed this week's episode. If you can't make the event this week, then please get in contact with Lorraine. I can personally vouch for her services. It's literally life changing. And you guys know that I am very sincere in what I say. Hence why I've had Lorraine back on here twice, and she'll be back again in the future, because I 100% believe in her work. If there's anything that you feel affected by today, head over to our resources page for some support services. Alternatively, if you do want to maybe do a bit more in-depth work spiritually, please contact Lorraine. Get tickets for the event if you just want to have a little taster. But I can assure you it's all going to be absolutely worth it. So my tribe, look after yourselves. I love you, and it's a wrap.
Thank you. Lovely. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no,
Love laid bare.